This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store. I'm here on Fight Week with promoter Ben Shalom. We're at Wembley for a massive start of a huge week. Anthony Joshua, Dubois. Obviously, you've got a couple of guys on the undercard. Chris Congo actually fighting today, who's obviously on the undercard for yourself. Other than that, how are you and how's things to finally be on a massive event?
It is massive. The fact that it's still Wednesday, it's like a marathon. I came in today. I've never seen a setup like that for a fight night. Never mind an open workout. It's incredible, and it's like a boxing dream. And I think everyone's waiting to wake up, because whether it's for us, the promoters, you guys, everyone involved in the sport, we've never seen anything like this for decades and decades and decades, like or ever. And so, it's very special, and I can't wait for Saturday.
Definitely. We'll just touch on Chris Congo fighting tonight. A little bit of Wednesday night fights. I think it's something that they always done for like the big Vegas fight nights. It's like they brought in here. It's quite a nice sort of little bit of niche thing to do.
No, it is, and as you said, they did it in Los Angeles and it worked well, and so they're doing it again tonight. Chris was considered for the Josh Kelly fight. For me, it ended up that the weights, they just felt like coming up 2 weights was a bit much, but I think he could have done it. Stevie McKenna was in the hat as well. That would have been a great fight. But look, it's just to have Saturday night, to have today, to have yesterday, the grand arrivals, to have what's going on this week. I've never seen anything like it, and to have 96,000 people at Wembley, a record attendance. This is a historic week for boxing, for sport. 2 British guys in the main event. Incredible.
Let's just firstly touch on Tyler Denny against Hamzah Sheeraz. It's a fight that we've discussed for so long. But one thing I actually did want to bring up, and he said, Tyler says he always does this with you, so it's nothing different, but he talked about a text he sent you saying, I know you don't believe in me, but I'm going to do it. Some inspirational stuff there, and I guess it is a regular occurrence that he keeps proving people wrong.
Every time. Tyler will send me updates in his camp, and every time he gets more and more confident, and you can't bet against Tyler Denny, because one, he's so well prepared, he's fought tall fighters, he's been consistent, he keeps proving people wrong, he rises to the occasion, he's going to enjoy every second of this fight. But he can, as you say, he said to me, I know you don't probably quite believe me, and he accepts that most people don't, but he says, I promise you I'm going to do the business on Saturday night. It's going to be something special. European
title on the line for that, is that right?
I believe so, yeah. I believe so. I think that's still to be at 100% confirmed. But yeah, it's a great fight.
Definitely. Let's just touch on Joshua Buatsi versus Willy Hutchinson. Yeah, it's getting more and more tense between the two. A face-off got released between Buatsi and Hutchinson, but this time with Adeola Depot. Obviously, the one with Frampton where it was when it kicked off. But Buatsi sort of made some comments about an alleged incident that happened with Willy Hutchinson and Craig Richards. And he said, for what you said, I'm going to make you pay for it. Sort of insinuating that they're sort of bringing, I guess, race into it. As a promoter, seeing that, like, what do you I guess really make of it all?
I'm glad that Josh Buatsi has had it stuck on him. I'm glad that he's got someone winding him up. I'm glad that he's I'm here. Someone's here to tell me off here. I'm glad that Josh feels in this situation where he has to react, and I've waited for this. When he first turned over, I've said it a few times, I remember watching him as a fan. So spiteful, so ruthless, so aggressive. That's what I want to see, and I think it's awoken a beast, I really do. I think Willy Hutchinson, as much as this is his game, may be the wrong game for Joshua Buatsi, and I just expect a hell of a fight. Fair play for Willy Hutchinson for getting himself in this position. Buatsi has to have too much. Hopefully, I'm hoping that he can stop him. I really am.
I was going to say, this is an interesting dynamic, because Josh is always sort of a calm, cool and collected individual, and I've never seen him really lose it like he did. Well, not lose it, but sort of show that aggressive side to him. Like, a good thing, like, show that, I've got a bit of spite about me.
He's a man of principle. You don't harm him, he won't harm you. He's a gentleman. He's not going to stick it on anyone. That's not his nature. But trust me, if he feels someone's being disrespectful to him, he will lose his head. He's been brought up in Croydon, on the streets, came over from Ghana, fought for everything that he's got, ended up in a boxing ring to keep him off the streets. This guy can fight, and he's used to people sticking it on him, and that's what we're seeing with Willy Hutchinson, and it's great to see, and it's great for people to see the real Josh Buatsi when really shit hits the fan, and I'm excited, and I think this is the platform that he's been waiting for. A huge statement, a huge opportunity to make a statement on Saturday, and then, you know, who knows, Bibbo better BF, he'll be in line and should be fighting the winner. That or Anthony Yard.
Let's touch on a video came out on IFL about an hour ago or 2 hours ago of an altercation between you and Eddie Hearn. Obviously, it was likely it was going to happen this week, that you'd sort of butt heads, you know, as interviewers, as sort of the usual channels, they do love that sort of stuff. Yeah, I guess it got a bit of a good back and forth. There was a handshake between, sort of, well, I guess a snub between the pair. Yeah, I guess what do you make of the whole altercation?
Look, I just, it doesn't matter, I've said a few times, it doesn't matter where the promoters get on as long as the fights are being made, and that's what Riyadh season have done. And so to have all the promoters here is incredible. Obviously for us, look, I got my promoter's license at 23 years old. I was under no illusions that I was going to have to fight for everything. I was going to have to fight, I was going to have to go through so much shit. Way before the Sky deal, I was on 5 Spy, ITV4, struggling to pay myself, struggling to pay staff, trying to get licenses, being blocked here, blocked there. That's the reason it's been run by this, you know, this business is run by established families and guys that have been around for 40, 50 years, both in the US and the UK. It's an incredibly hard thing to do. And so I used to go to Eddie's shows and Frank's shows growing up. So to be here now, this is what we wanted to do. This is what we did when we had to start out. It's still very, very early days for us. But we've worked really hard. We've worked really hard on our stable. And that's all you can do. You can only get here by merit. And yeah, it's great to be here.
What did you make of some of the comments that Hearn made? Obviously trying to shake your hand about the Dalton Smith Adam Azim fight, that we know sort of your whole opinion on that, and I think he said that he hasn't sort of, yeah.
I just believe they've got nowhere to go. They need the fight more than we need it. Adam Azim's profile's growing all the time. Obviously stopped a little bit with an injury this year, but now has a huge fight against O'Hara Davis. He's 22 years old. He's miles ahead of anyone at that age. And that fight will happen at the right time when it makes sense for Adam Azim on the terms that make sense. I'm here. I'm Adam's promoter. Of course we want to make the best fights. I genuinely believe we will see that fight next year. But yeah, we're not going to agree in a handshake like that, and he knows what he's doing.
I guess, what do you make of that whole dynamic where, like, it's been clear to say, like, it's not always been plain sailing for yourself, especially with Matchroom and even sort of a bit with Frank Warren, and when you hear all on Fight Week, like, people are going to want to pull you in for interviews, like whenever Hearn's there, like, going to want to get you in, and, like, you know, as an interviewer, everyone sort of wants that, to see sort of two people going back and forth. But what do you make of that whole dynamic? Like, is it for yourself, is it like, I embrace it, or do you like, it's just going to go about my business?
I don't really care, to be honest. It's not that deep. I don't think it affects anything that goes on behind the scenes. I think it's good that there's a now open communication. I think it's good that promoters are working together. Look, Hearn and Warren, that rivalry was fierce. I remember growing up, I couldn't even understand why it was so ridiculously like there was nothing. I don't think we've ever had that. And so what Riyadh season can do is special. I'm grateful. It's all we ever wanted. I don't really care. You know, I think it's hard for Eddie in many ways to. He talks about the same journey, but getting a Sky deal was the tip of the iceberg. Starting your own business, being able to have to come from scratch when no one believes in you, when you've got no one in your corner, when you've not got the connections, where you don't have all that, that takes a lot. And so that's what I want to be respected for, not for getting a Sky deal. That is you know, I think, yeah, as I say, it's taken a lot of hard work to get here. I'm 30 years old. We're still growing, we're still early days, and yeah, these nights are something special. Absolutely,
for sure. Ben, it was always a pleasure to catching up with you. Always good to see you, mate. And yeah, take care, man. Good to see you, man. Thank you.